And good morning. Welcome to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. That's right, good morning. We normally start in the afternoon, but we have a big show for you today, so we're starting a little bit early. I'm Stan Salter, along with our odds maker, Keith Fusel, and we're sitting next to a potential future Miss Universe. That's right, Acacia Courtney. I just want to know, is when you're Miss Universe, does horse racing still get to keep you, or are you going to go on like Entertainment Tonight or something?
My heart is always in horse racing, no matter what happens. And I just, on that note, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that's been so supportive. I am leaving today. I'm just doing the first few races here at Laurel Park, then getting on a plane to Reno, Nevada, to Reno Tahoe, where Miss USA will be held. So finals are May 2nd, but very excited, and I'm very excited to have my send-off be here at Laurel Park, which really is my home away from home.
Well, hopefully we'll give you some good luck, and I think you have the Miss USA. You're in the bag. You're like always mining in that. You're 1 to 5.
I like that.
And that's a win, and you're in for Miss Universe, right?
Right.
And then and you have a great platform that certainly relates to horse racing. Talk about your platform with retired racehorses.
Absolutely. I have a 501c3 nonprofit called Racing for Home, based in Connecticut, where I'm from. I'm the current Miss Connecticut USA, so Thoroughbred Aftercare has been really close to my heart, doing some work with the TAA and throughout the entire horse racing community. So that's been a big thing for me. It's all about the value of a second chance.
Absolutely. Awesome. And you've applied for accreditation for the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, and I think you're a shoo-in for that.
Thank you. We're very hopeful. The whole application process, very extensive, and rightfully so. So we've been really appreciative of all the support with that. We have our Facebook page and our website as well. We have 8 OTTBs. We do actually have a couple from Maryland as well. A Geoponte filly that never raced. Her name is Gianna. She was here in Maryland at Country Life Farm. So we got everybody represented in our program.
Good stuff.
All right, good stuff.
Sounds like a normal day in our life, right,
Right.
Stan? Jeez Louise.
501c.
I can go home now. Yeah. Jeez.
All right, good stuff. Well, I know you love horse racing. You do a great job.
Thank
you and
you.
Nicoletti and Blewett did a great job down there for the
Thank you.
championship meet, and we're glad to have you today. Now, we hope to have you for Preakness week, but if you win the Miss USA, then you're not going to be with us for Preakness.
Well, maybe I will get to be there, but just with a little bit bigger crown. So
right,
that's the hope
take
for that. Yeah.
All right, we'll take it. All right, well, thanks for being with us
Thank
today.
you.
We have a big show. Let's get to it. Let's show you what happened yesterday real quick. The Stronach 5 recap, that popular national wager. We had 16 winning tickets, paid a little shy of $9,400. A big payout once again in that Stronach 5, and you had the Rudy Sanchez $24 winner in the first leg here at Laurel Park. That was the maiden 25 that came off the turf, and Rudy just claimed that filly for $16,000. She was well beaten for $16,000, but wins first off the claim. So nice job by Rudy Sanchez Solomon. Gary Kapp wins the feature yesterday with Haley's Flip coming off the turf. So no luck for me yesterday in the Stronach 5.
Well, you had Haley's Flip. That was a good pick.
Yeah,
That's what we were
had
kinda
Haley's Flip
hoping,
on top.
Right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that was a the last race, the $24. Won like a 3 to 5 shot. Just went out there.
And with that low takeout, it pays so well every single week.
Every week, a bunch of big payouts. All right, so that was all yesterday. Let's show you what's going on today. Another super Saturday here at Laurel Park. It's our Spring Stake Spectacular. 7 stake races worth over $750,000 in purses. The stakes action starts race 5, races 5 through 11, 7 consecutive stake races. So some of the best horses on the East Coast right here today at Laurel Park. We also feature the premiere of the 2019 Match Series. The match races, they start race 5 with the Frank Whiteley races 5, 6, 7, and 8 are part of that match series today. So some great horse racing. The Express Bet Tessio is a winner, and you're in for the Preakness. And then the Weber City Miss, a win, and you're in for the Black Eyed Susan. We have lots of videos and stuff to show you about those races. But real quick, let's show you the snazzy giveaway we have for today, a Maryland Jockey Club tote bag giveaway. Now, due to shipping delays, we don't have them here today, but you buy a program for today, you're going to be given a rain check for a good-looking Maryland Jockey Club tote bag, and hopefully you'll have those in time for Preakness.
Yeah, those are great. Definitely good to have for Preakness and pretty much whatever you do, and you have all kinds of little pockets and stuff.
The beach, Ocean City.
Yeah, there you go.
Sneak a few things down there on the ocean.
All right, so a couple nice carryovers today. That's also going to highlight our stakes-filled afternoon. The 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. That's going to start race 6 today on the 11-race program. That carryover is getting up there. Nice carryover today, $24,026. That'll be well played. I think they'll put at least over $10,000 into it today on today's card. Be around 35 40,000 when it's all said and done. So that's a nice chunk of change there for the pick six.
It is. I got a ticket coming up in a little bit, and I dare say I think I might be the only Miss USA contestant playing the Rainbow Six today.
and you hit them too. You gave out some
Yeah,
big winners
had some
down
good
there at
ones this
Gulfstream
winter. Had some good ones this winter. We'll see if we can get a nice keep that momentum going here.
You need to get the whole group to buy a horse or something, buy a couple of horses. You guys could form your own little partnership.
She won a race. One of the Stronach Fives I hit, that horse, you had the creep.
Yes.
The creep out there at Santa Anita one. I hit the Stronach Five that day.
Yeah, that's right. You had a big payoff for a couple weeks in a row for the Stronach Five.
Yeah. The creep helped me out. You're still in on that horse, right?
No, we did end up selling him, but
Okay.
he's a hard-trying horse, and he's doing really, really well.
All right. So, the creep, he came through for me. All right, so we also have a nice carryover in that late pick 5. This will be well played. Starts in race 7, races 7 through 11. There's the carryover, a few bucks shy of 7,000 in that late pick 5 carryover. Industry low, 12% takeout, just like the Stronach 5. You get more cash in your pockets when you hit the pick 5s here at Laurel Park. Let's show you a picture of both tracks. We're on the turf today. We have a bunch of big fields on the turf, 3 stakes on the turf there. There's a picture of the main track and the turf course. Main track, fast turf is good right now to start. Keith, your thoughts on the track conditions?
Well, I tell you, we really lucked out with this weather. Things got through a little quicker than expected. Great job by the track maintenance group to get this track fast, dry it out. We've got a little breeze going right now. The sun is shining. Start the turf, it good. Definitely, clearly very firm yesterday. You saw the first couple races. Even that last race when that rain started was still quick.
Sure.
But with what we got, I want to gauge it and be safe to start it. And start it is good. We'll adjust if needed.
Okay, all right, so we'll keep an eye on the track conditions for the day. Let's get right to it here. Race 1, here we go. Race 1, we kick off the popular early pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on this early pick 5. Industry low, 12% takeout. Let's check out my ticket. I have a $48 early pick 5 ticket. Couldn't find a single here on my early pick 5. I have 2 singles on my late pick 5. You can probably guess who they are. Weber City Miss and Natesio. But there's my early pick 5 ticket. I like this ticket. I'm 3 deep in the opener with the 2, 4, 6, and then race 2. That's wide open. That's a maiden 25 going a mile on the Dahlia turf course. I go 4 deep in the second with the 1, 8, 9, 13. Race 3, a nice allowance race. I go with the 2, 4 there. Another nice allowance race going a mile on the all-along turf course in race 4. I go with the 3, 4 there. And then the Frank Whiteley race 5, the Frank Whiteley 100,000 3 and up, going 6 furlongs on the main track. This the Frank Whiteley anchors this early pick 5, and I go with the 2 Lakai in the 5 Lewisfield. It's going to be another showdown between those 2 Maryland-bred rivals in the Frank Whiteley.
It's just been such a fun little rivalry to follow, too, between the two of them, and that's a very good field. But it's always fun when you see Lewisfield and Lakai in the same race because they both always put on a show.
And don't forget about the elder Maryland-bred in there rocking on by. He's going to be coming late.
Yeah, coming back, had that race up in New York, shorting him up in distance. He's going to get plenty of speed to run at. I think he's going to bounce back and run a much better effort today.
Okay, all right, let's get right to it. Race 1, we're going 6 furlongs on the main track, 25,000 starter lounge, 3 and up. Never won 2 is the condition here. Let's start with the 2, my top pick, Honor Run. Second off the layoff here for Chucky Lawrence. Georgie Vargas will ride. Vargas aboard, last out, a big win coming off that little almost a 2-month freshening, and went off the favor and galloped, almost won by 6 that day with a lifetime best 71 Beyer speed figure. So Chucky Lawrence finds a nice, they don't get to do anything crazy and step up to allowance. They find a nice cozy starter, 2 life today for the 2 Honor Run. We all like the 2.
I do think that his last race was very impressive, and if he runs to that again, he could be tough in here. The way I saw this race potentially playing out was that there could be some other speed up front with him, and First Talent, Mr. Smurth right there in the 4. I thought the number 6, Sunman, turning back just slightly to the 3/4 of a mile, he's going to get a good trip with something to run at in here.
Yeah, the leaders got away with a slow pace in Sunman's last race. They got away from him on the turn. He kicked it back late. Final 8th was pretty good, all things considered. Running him back quick, I think he's got some more left in the tank. Sunman from off the pace. First Talent's an interesting type for Jeff Runco. Comes down here, means business. You see Charlestown dueling with, it says a 2 in life. Some of those horses have won 4 or 5 races because of the West Virginia little clause there. Okay, they're allowed in those races. So I think First Talent might be the speed of the speed with Correa. Could get some pressure. Honor Run, I doubted him last time. Boy, he brought a big race. I did not see that one coming.
All right, so we like the same 4 horses there in the opener. Let's turn the page. Race 2 will kick off the early pick 4. We also start the rolling super high 5 in race 2, and that has a low 15% takeout for that super high 5. We have it every race with 7 or more horses. Starts in race 2, so keep your eye on that throughout the day. Also, we kick off the early pick 4 in the second race. Keith, you have a ticket. Let's check it out, see how you played it.
A little bit higher than normal, $36, but I think there's value. If we can beat Mutarabit in race 2, we're off to the races here. Even money morning line, I think he's going to be right around there on the class drop, trying the turf for the first time. I go 5, 8, 9, use a couple bombs in there. The 5 up against it, and the 9 Kustafu. Too deep in the third. Going to go Kieran. I liked the 5 originally. Now this track is fast. I think Linda Rice's horse is a little bit better on an off track. Fourth race, 3, 8, 10, 11. Another spread race here. Yeah, that allowance race is awfully tough. Scratch the 1. I really did like the 1, but we're going to wait for her another day. Fifth race, wrap it up with the 2, 4, and 5. Going to throw Mr. Bricks into the mix along with the logicals, Lakai and Lewisfield.
Yeah, just looking at Mr. Bricks real quick, man. He's fired a couple bullets recently, a 96 and a 97 buyer recently. He won a stake race up there at Aqueduct. Yeah, I don't have him on my early pick 5 ticket, but he makes me nervous from the Claudio
Just
barn.
all of a sudden, he's finishing his races like he's never finished before.
Yeah.
He brought
Really
a big run. Had a little setup last time, but backing up, I think his move is going to be substantial again against this group.
Okay, all right, let's check out race 2 here. We're going a mile on the Dahlia Turf Course, rail setting at 52 feet. Maiden claiming 25,000, 3 and up. And Casey and I have the 8 on top here. Mata Rabbit for trainer Mike Pino. Dave Robin will have a better pronunciation of the name. Muta Rabbit, I believe. Daniel Centeno. Man, Centeno is so good on the turf. He's one of our top turf riders here, and he gets aboard this 5-year-old for the first time today. First time turf for this 5-year-old by Medaglia de Oro. He's run some big numbers on the main tracks, and he's dropping today. Big drop from that maiden special weight in for a tag today.
And this was a horse I picked him on top, but I feel like he's got a lot of question marks to him. Looking at his pedigree and owned by Shadwell Stable with Mike Pino, it's surprising to me that he hasn't been on the turf yet. That's one thing I thought was a little curious. He's burned a bit of money. He's got turf pedigree, certainly. So if he takes to the grass and he's just plain and simple been running against tougher, looking at his company, I'm really intrigued by the 13 Dynastic. I see both of you have that horse in there too. I think this horse is really going to like the turf. Have to concealed identity, multiple stakes winner, 2-time turf winner for Tim Keefe. I think if that horse switches to the grass, he's got the outside post, but he's the wild card in my estimation.
Yeah, he's also, I think, a half the peach of a gal, if I'm not mistaken. So there's turf there in the pedigree. You know, kind of a quick give up down to the 25, but maybe the turf will pick up the head of Dynastic. I go with the 9, Kustafu. Tony Aguirre. Look at this one. Look at Tony's ROI on the turf recently. Over $6. Yeah, Flashback hasn't done a whole lot. The turf runners just really not a whole lot of yet, but by tap at Flashback, I think they're going to take to it eventually. But the foals out of this mare, 2 for 6 in turf routes, 3 actually turf-winning siblings. I think Gustavo is an improving type, sneaky. I love that ROI for Tony Aguirre on the turf.
This could be the blow-up race for the early pick 5. I have the 9 on my ticket. We'll get a big price on the 9. Big field here. You have maiden special weight dropping in for the maiden 25, and you have some other horses stepping up like Kustafu. So I think you might see a big price here in the second.
Yeah, got to take the stab. Unproven here. Mutarabit's burned a ton of money. Yeah, you look at the turf medallion doors are 16%. Looking at the mare, she was okay. She broke her maiden on the turf up in New York sprinting. I think it was going 6 furlongs. Leather bomb to throw in real quick up against it. I've been waiting for this horse to get to the grass. A half to Balmer Hun. 2 winning turf siblings in the family. I think this horse is going to move up today with the transition to the grass.
Of course, I say it's wide open. Might be a blow-up race, and I have the even money shot on top. But I'm 4 deep on the early pick 5. So when in doubt, go with Centeno on the turf. All right, let's turn the page. Couple nice allowance races here. In race 3, we're going a flat mile on the main track for race 3. First level allowance group, 3 and up. I go with the 2 on top. Looks like a nice claim for trainer Kieran McGee. He got this 4-year-old son of Super Saver for 12.5 back in late January here at Laurel Park. He won that day. Kieran won first off the claim and a couple big seconds at this allowance level. Going long his last 2. Trevor McCarthy aboard today. This horse 6 for 7, 1-2 in the money here at Laurel Park. So the 2 we all have on top here.
And Kieran has a nice little 1-2 punch
Yes.
in here with the 4 Throw the Fade, who's won his last 2. I mean, this horse has been really consistent since he's claimed him. He's not taken a bad step. That said, I do think that Totalitario is going to get a little bit of the better trip in here today. I also like him. A couple of things here. Slight turn back to the 1-turn mile. I think that's where his most potent distance is.
Yes.
And I also think he's going to appreciate having a fast track versus that sealed sloppy one he encountered 2 back.
Yeah, I know Linda Rice was probably hoping this track, when bringing this horse down here today, was going to stay sloppy.
Yeah.
Numbers move way up in the slot, but they still protect Monteleone, the 5. I think he's going to be the pace presser of Throw the Fade. So Kieran, he's got a tough 1-2 punch in there. Totalitario, a little bit of lazy horse. You have to stay after him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to follow through today on this fast track at a mile distance. Looking for a little price maybe underneath. I throw the 6 in. Craccelli, I think he's a user in the tries underneath.
All right, so a cold 2-4 exacta for all 3 of us there in race 3. Let's turn the page here. Race 4 will kick off the middle pick 4. We're back on the turf. We're going a mile on the all-along turf course. No rail setting on the all-along. Nice first level allowance group. Filly and mares 3 and up, and I go with the 4 on top. KLE, an Irish-bred 5-year-old mare for trainer Tim Keefe. Jevion Toledo will ride, and she ran okay on the turf down there at Gulfstream. Those are tough allowance races down there during the championship meet. She finished an okay 4th last out at 17-1, a decent 75 buyer speed figure. That puts her right there against this group.
She actually, I think the reason I ended up taking her, and I'm with Keith, I really liked the 1 in here, LEB, before the scratch. She was my top pick, but I thought that Kaylee had a shot underneath. And looking back at those races again, those were very, very tough fields. Just off of memory, Ispire and Ferdinanda, 2 starts back, put down a knockout war coming down to the wire, and there was no catching them. And last time out, that filly, Miss Munnings, has been very, very consistent and very good. And with those smaller fields on the turf, just 6 horses going a mile, they tend to get kind of bunched up and find some traffic. And unfortunately, that's what happened to her.
Yeah, which you wouldn't think, but that does happen a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody's riding tight, and things happen. They can maneuver a little bit more. There's not as much clutter, so they can kind of do a little bit of race riding, the jockeys, and that's what happens in that situation. The only thing I see turf 0 for 34 here for Tim Keefe recently. That got me. I'm going to go outside with a horse that draws in. Slimy, a horse that ran pretty quick, runs a 65 at the age of 2 back in September of 18, behind a horse that's come back and run close in some graded stakes. I think Slimy's a horse going to get a setup, drop in, save some ground early, make a run off the pace, and maybe War of the States as well. Looking for a little value in the 4th. Trombetta, Bodemeisters are okay on the grass. Much improved effort last time, threw a little traffic along the inside, had plenty of horse around the turn, and I think a half sis, I'll get a little note, half sis by Warfront was 2 for 8, running an 88 on the turf, so that's good.
And she was a graded stakes place horse
Oh,
as well,
okay.
the half
I
sister.
missed
So
that.
there's some good pedigree in there. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so a key draw in there in race 4 with the scratch of the 1 LEB. The 11 Slimy draws in for Chucky Lawrence. You get Vargas aboard 5-1. So yeah, the 11 Slimy definitely a factor here in race 4. All right, let's get to the stakes action. Race 5 is the Frank Whiteley. It's the first of 7 consecutive stake races this afternoon. We're going 6 furlongs on the main track. It's a $100,000 stake for 3-year-olds and upward. Scratch to 1, Killy Beggs Captain. That's the only scratch, right? Okay, yep. All right, I go with the 5 on top. Lewisfield, man, he came back off the brief 3-month freshening that Jeff Runco gave him, and this Maryland bred by Great Notion. He looks like he's pretty good at 5. He just ran a lifetime best 102 buyer when he won the Not for Love. He went right to the front and threw the knockout punch early. 108-3. That's a serious time. He beat Rockin' On By and Lakai in that race. Now I know Lakai's beaten Lewisfield before. It's a neat rivalry. We have a video spotlight to show. Well, we'll get to the video. We'll get to the 4. But real quick, Keisha, your thoughts on the 5 Lewisfield?
Oh, he's just been so fun to follow. I thought that last race was really impressive to see him back in the way that he can run. It looked like the freshening really did him good as well. He's been about as consistent as you possibly could have a horse be, and he clearly loves it here at Laurel Park given his record too. And talking about that little bit of a rivalry, the 2 Lakai, they have different running styles too, which makes it even more interesting. Lewisfield's a real pace setter type, and Lakai one that's going to be kind of in that stalking off the pace position, and they're both as consistent as we can have. I ended up going against both of them. I took Mr. Bricks, but just the utmost respect for that rivalry.
Yeah, we've got a video, right, of Mr. Bricks.
Yep. All right, let's see the video here. Big win. This was 2 starts ago against Third Level Allowance Company at Laurel.
Yeah, he was up right with the pace, and he likes to sit usually outside of horses, but this day he kind of gets pressure from both sides. And you see the jock Gomez just kind of peeking back there, leaving the 5/16 pole. And this was a different kind of Mr. Briggs. We've seen some big races, and he hasn't really paired things up. Now he's pairing his big efforts up. It doesn't matter whether it's an off track, whether it's a fast track. He's bringing a finish now for Claudio, something we haven't seen out of him. Beat a good horse. Mr. Dougie Fresh was a hot horse up in New York last time out, and that was up the rail with a powerful run. He's right now, and he's going to get that right kind of setup to make a run into it. I think Home Run Maker could possibly sit another trip. I go with Lakai. He's just deadly consistent, and what happened last time, Louisville just got away with a soft. You would think 22-4, that's pretty quick. Now, he got away with a soft opening quarter. I think, Lakai is going to take it to him a little bit sooner. He's not going to let him get away. Going to try to maybe hook him at the quarter pole, and let's take it from there and see who wins the battle. Damon, how about this stat? 31%, 9 for 29 over the past few years, third off of a layoff in these dirt races with an ROI of close to $4.
Yeah, and you get the veteran rider Horacio Caramanos. He's very competitive. You know, he's probably he probably wants to get revenge on Toledo and Louisville.
You
so
can't let him walk the dog stand like he did last time.
All right, so how about the 8 on the outside, rocking on by? You know, he's going to be coming late. The 8-year-old's made what, almost 700,000 now. He likes to finish second, 24 seconds for this horse, but you have to love a horse like this. He just keeps cranking out the checks, and he'll run big today with Victor Carrasco aboard for Claudio.
And he'll fly under the radar with Claudio having Mr. Briggs in there, who's been just so good in his last couple. And then you've got a horse like this who has not missed many dances.
Right.
I throw in my little price shot would be It's the Journey for Trombetta, just because when you least expect it, Mike jumps up and grabs off a long time, right? All since August. Coming against killers, he must think this horse is really on his toes right now and expects a big effort. And you go back on his page, he's beaten the likes of these guys before, so he's possible. User underneath for me. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I'm going to throw him in the exact at a price.
All right, so nice addition of the Frank Whiteley, the first of 7 consecutive stake races. The Frank Whiteley is the first of the match series. Races 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all part of that match championship series. All right, that's the first stake race, guys. We have 6 more to go. A couple nice big carryovers.
Right.
Let's get a quick commercial break. A lot to get to right after this. All right, welcome back. We still have 6 more stake races to get to. Race 6 is the King T. Leatherberry, named after the Hall of Famer, of course, the trainer of Ben's Cats. So fitting this race is going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. We're on the Dahlia Turf Course here in race 6 with the rail setting at 52 feet, 100,000, 3 and up. We have a nice carryover in that 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 to get things going here in the Leatherberry Stakes. There it is, 24,026. This will be well played today. Both of my co-hosts in the afternoon, Tim Tullock, he has a ticket. We'll check that out later. All the tickets are on the website, laurelpark.com. Underneath the handicapping section. Let's check out Acacia's ticket right now, see how she played it.
I played a $28.80 ticket. I'm using 3 horses to start things off. And the tough part about the King T. Leatherberry is I think the stronger horses are drawn way to the outside. Tricks to Do is really the one I like the most, and he's in number 15. He's got a couple scratches to his inside, which is going to benefit him. But I'm using Dirty, Tricks to Do, and Proforma, who had a very consistent run, I think, for Mike Stidham as well. In the 7th race, I'm just using 2 horses, going with the 2, Miss Locust Point, and the 3, Karen. I picked Karen in the inside information last time out at Gulfstream, and I thought she needed the race physically, so I'm going to go back to her again today, though Miss Locust Point clearly has always been razor sharp. The 8th race, I ended up using a couple of horses. I've got La Moneda, who's been very good. I'm using Secret Message off the layoff. Could be a big day for Grand Motion, who has quite a few runners in as well. I ended up using 3 horses in the Weber City Miss. I'm hoping I may be able to try to get a little bit of a price. Las Cetas clearly has been so good, but I'm intrigued by the inside 2 runners as well. So I'm going to use them. In the 10th race, always mining, though, I'm going to just take the chalk and single.
All right.
And I'm going to spread in the Henry Clark and the nightcap there. Hopefully we get a price to wrap things up for a still affordable ticket at $28.80.
I like that ticket.
Yeah, I like it. Very
Yeah.
affordable.
I do like
And, the race 11, the Henry Clark, that's wide open. I hit
Yes.
the all button in that race on my late pick 5. Let's check out the first leg of this pick 6, the King T Leatherberry Stakes, 5.5 on the Dahlia. And all right, we like the same 3 horses on top here. Just a little different order. Both Acacia and I have the 11 on top, Pro Forma. We have a video in this race. We'll get to that in a second here. That's on the 9 Dirty. But let's talk about the 11 Pro Forma here. You get Trevor McCarthy aboard for the first time, I believe, on this 5-year-old son of Munnings for trainer Michael Stidham, coming off a layoff. This will be his 5-year-old debut, but he was running some big numbers at the fairgrounds, Belmont, Kentucky Downs, Monmouth. So he finished off his 4-year-old campaign last year, knocking heads with some heavyweights.
Oh, he absolutely did. I mean, you look at Disco Partner 2 starts back that he ran into the Belmont Turf Sprint, and usually when you have a horse, you say, okay, he's a graded stakes winner. It was at Kentucky Downs going that 6.5 furlongs. Some horses love that. Some horses hate it. That's always a little bit of a tough thing to go off of. But his other turf races have been strong enough, and just the company he's been facing. Even last time out on the dirt, Win Time came back to win a stake with a 100 buyer speed figure. So coming off the bench, but I think he's coming in very strong.
Yeah, fresh little layoff doesn't bother me at all with Performa, and he has maybe a little advantage. Some of the other horses, you're right. I like the outside horses. Maybe he can draft in a little sooner, save some ground mid-term before he decides what to do. Trevor will bring this horse with a solid late run. I go to Dirty on top. The 9, Jeremiah Englehart. 8 trials on the turf, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. I've got a video here of last summer in June in the that allowance race. We have that, the state bred allowance. This was awfully good, if we can see that. And that course, a firm course, like I think he's going to get something close to it today. Do we have that video, guys?
Dirty video.
Dirty
Hit it
video.
one time, baby.
Hey.
Hit it one time for this McLean's Music
There
4-year-old.
There we go.
Thank you. It gets a battle up front. Expedited Vision. We know Jarvis Steele is speed. And this group, not nearly as seasoned as what he's going to face today. But he improved off of this effort. But watch the ride. Vargas just drafting to the inside of horses. And he's going to go ahead and find a seam. Turf with a little bit of give in there. See a little bit of divots coming up. He's going to find a seam and really explode when he asks him through the final 3/16 of a mile, not phased at all, splitting rivals, and he's going to go off to win by 5 lengths. Oldies but Goodie, a pretty good horse for Trombetta, is going to be second, switching over to the left lead, but plenty left in the tank. Then he goes on, a little bit of a break. World of trouble. Man, he's glad there's no world of trouble
Talk
in
about
here.
company to face. Yeah.
There's a horse that ran, a 118 in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Okay, Dirty. He's got plenty of speed to target. I think he's going to be able to kind of get the jump maybe on the likes of Performa or even Tricks to do.
All right, I like him. We all like the 9 Dirty. We all like the 15 as well. On the far outside here, Tricks to do, Delacour, Centeno. They're one of the toughest combos on the turf here. And this horse ran okay down there at Tampa. A nice win against second-level allowance company back in January. And then just ran okay on that dirt stake. But this looks like, based on the buyer speed figures, looks like this the best surface, the turf, for this 4-year-old by Into Mischief.
And I remember him. I really liked him on the dirt. He was actually my pick in the Grade 3 Hutchison back in 2018. So I've never forgotten you, Tricks to do. I think he's better on the turf, though. I think he's found his home. Vision Perfect that he ran second to at Tampa is a very, very good Jason Service horse as well. Another good turf sprinter. Then he had that good allowance win. I think he's getting back to what's actually his preferred surface. The post is going to be his biggest challenge.
I like that he's been able to do 2 things. He's been able to rally off the pace into a horse like Vision Perfect, and the time after that, his win on the turf down at Tampa was never phased. Was in between horses, had plenty of run, confidently handled by Santana. Boy, when he let him go, he really took off to widen against that field. I think he's an improving type. Just wish he had a little bit better post.
All right, so we all like the 9, 11, 15 on top there in race 6, the King T Leatherberry. Leatherberry will be here today. He'll be presenting the trophy in that race.
You're going to get him away from the windows to come down?
Yeah, he'll be. That's
Gotta
right.
get some jokes.
We'll see if he's live in the pick 6 in the winner's circle there for the Leatherberry Stakes. All right, let's turn the page. Still, 5 stake races to go. Race 7 will kick off the late pick 5. We have a nice carryover today in that late pick 5 with that industry low 12% takeout. And there's the carryover, a little shy of 7,000. This will be well played. They'll go after this today with all these stake races and all stakes. pick 6 and late pick 5 today. Let's check out my ticket for the late pick 5. It's a $42 ticket. I go 3 deep here in the Promenade. The 1 Start with Silver, the 2 Miss Locust Point, and the 3 Karen. They look like the main horses to beat here in the Promenade. The Dahlia going a mile on the Dahlia turf course, and I go 3 deep there with the 1 Viva Vegas. How about the 3 Peach of a Gal at 10-1? You said Grand Motion might have a big day. I agree with you. This horse a good third against Grade 3 Company just this past February. You get Vargas Motion 10-1 there on the 3 Peach of a Gal and the Dahlia. The 6 is going to be tough though. La Moneda, we have a video on that filly. And how about McCarthy in Motion with the 9 Secret Message? I like that filly as well. So a couple price plays I have there in the Dahlia. Then a couple singles. I'm not going to try to beat these favorites. Las Cetas, she looks awfully tough in the Weber City Miss. And then the 1-5 favorite, Always Mining. Not going to try to beat him. Looking forward to seeing these 2 nice Maryland breds today in the features. Then race 11, Henry Clark, 100,000, 3 and up, going a mile on the turf course. And you have a bunch of well-accomplished turf veterans in here. The 1 Fly hit the all button. There's 7 in here. The 1 Flash Phelps coming off the layoff. The 3 Irish Straight, that's going to be one of your favorites. Don't count out Mike Pino first off the claim with the 4 Flatline. He gets Centeno to ride. Talk show man, you know he's good. And the 3 outside horses, Ignacio Correa's back in town. He's live here with the 8 Real Story. Dionyse got real good last summer on the turf up at Delaware for Gary Capuano. And then the 10, Just Howard's a graded stakes winner here at Laurel Park. And you get McCarthy there for Motion at 9-2. So that's one of the races of the day. I hit the all button in the Henry Clark.
It's a very tough race and a great way to wrap up the day because, of course, the Tessio, one of the highlights, and the Weber City Miss. But then, hey, stick around because we've got a really, really good race at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, that's wide open. You said I like your call there on the all button. Every horse has a legitimate chance. Flatline, maybe your biggest outsider. Other than that,
he's got back class though.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Yes, he does. That's probably the safe way to go, Stan.
All right, let's start here with the Promenade filly and mares 3 and up, 100,000, 6 furlongs on the main track. Keith, we'll start with your top pick here. The 1 Start with Silver for trainer Linda Rice. You have a stat here for trainer Linda Rice. Let's check it out.
There you go. Last 5 years, dirt sprints, 5 for 9. It's not a huge sample. 56%, 8 for 9 in the money. 9 graded stakes. Okay, ROI 277. That's good enough for me. Coming off that layoff, that's third off of a little bit of a layoff is that stat. So that's third off of a break. Should be in there. That's my bad. But Start with Silver, once again, was hoping for a little bit of moisture in the racetrack. A lot's going to depend, I think, on this opening quarter of a mile with Miss Locust Point. If Angel at War can't press her, or maybe one of these horses from the outside, she could be gone. But Start with Silver, proven on the dirt as well. I need a little help up front to pressure and soften up the favorite.
Yeah, she's going to be coming from off the pace, and that's a huge stat, and especially given the way that this mare won last time out. I think if she can repeat that sometimes, second off the layoff, now third off the layoff, is she going to be able to parlay that into another good performance? But Miss Locust Point, I mean, she's going to be the one, I think, with the target on her back.
Absolutely.
All right, so I like the 1. Junior Alvarado is going to have to carve out a good trip from the inside on this closing sprinter. She'll likely be in traffic down the back stretch. I have her in the exact. I go with the graded stakes winner here, the 2 Miss Locust Point. She won the grade 2 Barbara Fritchie back in 2018. She ran okay in it this year. It was only her second start this year. She was a little wide, and Late Night Powwow came back to be third in a grade 1 at Keeneland. And the runner-up there, Spice Perfection, came back to win. Then you saw Miss Locust Point get on her A game in that nice open allowance race late March at Park. She had a 93 buyer that day. She galloped that day for John Service. Vargas back aboard. I think they try to be aggressive early on and go right to the front with the 2 Miss Locust Point.
And that certainly could be the case. I really respect her. She's done some very good running. I mentioned this earlier when showing my pick 6 ticket, but I did go back to Karen because I had written down last time out in the inside information that she's one I would have to pick next time out. She was actually my price pick in that race. I thought it was going to be one coming from off the pace. Had the right idea, just the wrong horse. America's Tail blew up the tote board that day to get the win. And I thought off of the roughly 6-month layoff, she needed the race. She came back at 7 furlongs. She turns back slightly now to the 3/4 of a mile, which has been a good distance for her. She should have some additional fitness in her. Been working, I think, forwardly since coming back to Fair Hill. I just think that she's going to be in the right spot today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm three deep on my pick five. The 1, 2, 3. McCarthy is live on
Yeah.
several
On a
nice
slew
price
of
runners
horses,
today.
yeah.
4 to 1, 8 to 1. So he's live here on the 3 Karen and the Priminetta. All right, so we all like the 1, 2, 3 on top there in race 7. Let's turn the page here. Race 8 will kick off the late pick 4, where we're going a flat mile on the Dahlia Turf Course, rail setting at 52 feet. And this race is the Dahlia Stakes. Dahlia, of course, a past winner of the DC International. This race for filly mares 3 and up. Let's start with the 6, Acacia's top pick here, La Moneda, one of the favorites here. We have a video spotlight from her last race last December.
Yeah, pick this up top of the stretch. Go ahead, Acacia. This is your home track.
Yeah. Well, this was a race, as you can see. It ended up just kind of being a cavalry charge coming down to the wire. A little bit of bumping there. There was some rain in the turf course. Capla Temptress ran a huge race in here. She's on the outside in the red cap under Joelle Rosario. She's not a big filly. She managed to get the trip in here. Did see, again, just a very, very tough field that she was running up against. I thought that she finished up beautifully. I looked back at my notes. I loved what I saw from her on the track warming up. My biggest concern, and unfortunately she's run into a little bit of a rain softened turf in her last couple of starts. That's my biggest concern with her in here today, because that is what she found at Gulfstream. She's handled it well enough, and she's been beaten by really nice horses. I do think that she's a little bit sharper on a firm turf.
Yeah, I agree, and I worry just a little bit of a break. She's run well off of a break, more like a little chilly right now. And the flow of this race is really tough to gauge. I honestly do not know who's going to go ahead and send for the lead. Usually you can kind of visualize. Maybe it's going to be La Moneda. It's fresh, go out, super striking. It's shown some seed in the past. You've got the horse that just broke the maiden. Maybe they just go ahead and out there and could really kind of make things a little screwy up top. I think Viva Vegas off recency, off the horses that she's faced, absolute killers, and Rimska and Ogsmore. She's been close enough in the past. And I think if Alvarado just kind of gets her in range early, gets tucked up maybe 2-3 lengths out of it and just sits there and is patient enough, I think he's going to be able to find some room late to maybe wear down La Moneda. But La Moneda, I think, is the one to beat. I was kind of shocked looking back at that field for her to be the favorite.
She was
in
not
that
the morning
14,
line favorite.
yeah, in that
she was bet down.
Yeah, in that 14 horse field.
Yeah.
But 2 back 55's a killer up there, the Queen of New York for Chad Brown. But Viva Vegas made offer just a little bit better value in here.
All right, I like the 1 and the 6. Morley had a nice year last year with this mare La Moneda. Made almost 300,000. So if she comes back like she was last year, she'll be tough to beat. I go with my price play of the day here. Trevor McCarthy and Graham Motion 6 to 1 here on the 9 Secret Message, a 4-year-old daughter of a hat trick coming off the layoff. This race is her 4-year-old debut, and look who she was running against last year. Nice win against Grade 3 Company at Arlington last August. A good second against Grade 2 Company on a yielding turf course at Belmont. That's good enough for me. Looks like she was a little fractious in the gate in the Grade 1 up there, down there at Keeneland last October. That's okay. That was a Grade 1, but won by Rushing Fall. It's a lot easier race, a tough race, but it's no Grade 1, Grade 2, or Grade 3.
Just the like you could talk about the company that she's been facing in her last couple of starts is really second to none. I do think that she is one. She ran well on a rain softened turf course at Belmont 2 starts back. So any little cut in the ground today is not going to be any problem for her.
And that's why I'm going to throw in my little price shot. Stan, you don't have Hammy anywhere.
Quick
you know,
witted.
on days like this, Hammy Smith
Hammy's
shows
got
up
something.
with a bomb. You know, he's got something there, and I think it's quick-witted. You know, that she must be training well, coming back up from Ellery. I think, you know, like I say, a little bit of giving this ground. That's what she wants. She was bet down in a big race in the All Along, against Valedictorian. Good horses. That's my price user, definitely in race 8.
Yeah, I didn't use her, but she ran big on a yielding turf course last summer at Laurel Park. And don't be fooled by the work tab only having 2 works on there. I'm sure she's had 3-4 months of some nice long strong gallops with Jason and Bobo. She's ready for the mile distance.
Yeah, I saw her going down Old Highway 6 in Santee. They're getting her ready. Yep.
All right, so nice addition there of the Dahlia to kick off the late pick 4. Here we go with some of the top 3-year-olds on the East Coast starting in race 9. It's the $125,000 Weber City Miss, straight 3-year-old fillies. We're going a mile and a 16th on the main track. Race 9 kicks off the final pick 3 of the day. The Weber City Miss, a win, and you're in for the Black-Eyed Susan, Friday, May 17th at Pimlico. Let's start here with the favorite. Both Acacia and I have the favorite on top, the 6, Las Citas. You try to beat her with the 2, Pat Snowful. We have videos on both these fillies. Let's start with the 7-5 morning line favorite. Here's Las Citas. She dropped a hammer on them in the Beyond the Wire going a mile. She was in front by 5, Turner for home, and she was in front by 5, drawing away at the wire. So good-looking filly by Seville for trainer Katie Voss.
And she's still clearly a bit green. You can see even in that last race, Jevan Toledo having to correct her a little bit, keep her straight. She's still learning. She's still improving, but she's got her ears up coming down to the wire. I thought she finished up beautifully. Clearly, her last 3 races have been so impressive, and she's shown that she has a couple different dimensions, too. She's been able to pull away in all of them, but I don't think that if she gets any sort of company, she's going to shy away from that.
No.
That said, I didn't end up singling her. I like the horse that Keith has on top and Pat Snowful, and even our Super Freak has really, she's been right there in a lot of her races.
I'm wondering what tactics Trevor will take with the 1. Will she try to go ahead and pressure Las Citas, who's kind of, but Las Citas to the outside you talked about. I think she's going to be able to relax if somebody tries to challenge her from the inside. Money from Heaven has no speed, so I mean Toledo can just go ahead and spy on whoever he wants to spy on, and if he wants to go to the front, go right ahead. But the horse has really improved. The blinkers went on. This horse we talked about got a little bit of play in debut. We had a little steam on this horse, had a trouble trip on that sloppy sealed surface, and has just moved up with the blinkers. And don't worry about the rat of ground. It looks, she's a half to cord maker. Okay,
Sure.
we know cord maker can handle the 2 turns. Las Citas clearly the one to be. But Pat Snowful, Gary Cap, spots his horses, perfectly. And he must believe in this filly. And I go back to the 3-back try. I love that
the video,
race of the video at Laurel. That's not the win. We're going to go back to the 22nd, but the win on the February 3rd, I love that race. Took pressure and ran a very good time. But this was the key. On the 22nd of February, broke a little sluggishly down to the inside, and she just never got comfortable from the rail. Toledo had to kind of work her in between horses. She was bottled up a little bit, tapped the brakes, swings to the outside about 4 or 5 wide, turning for home. But what I like is the try. She kept on trying a little bit of brush with the horse just to the inside. Is going to run 3rd in here, but went off of this race, went up to New York. Didn't beat a stellar group, okay, but I come back to the race on February the 3rd. I think she can come back to that race. She's going to be very, very tough with a clean break. Needs to get a clean break and get the right kind of position.
She does have the experience going a little bit longer, too, going that mile and a 16th right here at Laurel. So I think that's going to be to her benefit, too, because a lot of these horses are going to be going 2 turns for the first time.
Sure.
Yep. I know Jamie Ness. He's been high on this filly, our Super Freak, since last year. You get McCarthy for the first time today. It's a nice addition here of the Weber City Miss. The 3 you have in the mix there, Keith, trapped in my mind, the maiden, but she ran a big race last out down there at Hot Springs at Oaklawn.
I'm just thinking the connections must be awfully high. Going to throw into this. Looks like she wants extra ground.
Yep.
Got a little steam on that horse yesterday. The connections are high on this filly.
Wasabi Ventures in trainer Jesse Cruz with a nice long shot maiden here in the Weber City Miss. Kenny Cox has a nice filly with the 4 Pass Perfect. I use that one in my top 3. She hasn't done much wrong her last 4 starts. She's been right there with Sheldon Russell aboard. I think she'll like this. Her first time going 2 turns, and she'll get a nice smart ride by Sheldon.
And that's the key. You got a lot of horses stretching out in here, even Money from Heaven to the outside, who Keith mentioned this. I hope she's a little bit more forwardly placed with the extra distance and the blinkers on. This is my hammy bomber to throw in somewhere in here, hoping, again, the stretch out will help her.
All right, so nice addition of the Weber City Miss, a win, and you're in for the Black-Eyed Susan. Let's turn the page. It's the feature of the day. Race 10 to kick off the late daily double and all stakes, late daily double. Everything, all the multi-race wagers today are all stakes.
All that's great.
They're all
great.
Stakes. All right, race 10 is the Express Bet Federico Tessio, $125,000 on the line for straight 3-year-olds. We're going a mile and an 1/8 on the main track. First time these horses have gone 9 furlongs for most of them. This race named after one of the greatest breeders in thoroughbred racing history, Federico Tessio. I'd love to study this guy some more. He wrote some books about breeding and everything. He's just a genius when it came to breeding. Let's take a look here at the heavy favorite who we all have on top, 1-5. And that's what he's probably going to go off at here for sure.
Yeah.
Always Mining, the Maryland bred for trainer Kelly Rubley. Let's show you what he did last out in the private terms. This was only his second start as a 3-year-old. We have that video. Let's show you that race from March 16th. He was in front by 4. He went right to the front with Daniel Centeno. It was all over early. They got away with 24-48, and he was in front by 4, and it's all over. Centeno, he puts the stick away here. He's home free. He's probably going to go right to the front once again today. The 2 Always Mine. I know I went out of order there, guys. We have a soundbite on Kelly Rubley.
Okay.
We'll get to it. We're supposed to do that first, but let's talk about the video, then we'll see what Kelly Rubley has to say.
Well, this horse has been so impressive with the last 5 races being wins, and clearly shown that he deserves to be here. I think that the slight stretch out to the 9 furlongs is going to be absolutely no problem.
No, and I like the route that the Connections have taken.
Sure.
I mean, now if he passes this test with flying colors and everything goes well and he goes into the Preakness, we're going to really see what he's like. But I like the way they brought him along, and it looks like they're going to have a fresh horse moving forward. Was able to kind of go comfortably on the front. You see, big horse, plenty left in the tank. Extra ground against this group doesn't bother me. I think he's going to get a little bit of a new twist here today. I think Bozzini is going to go ahead and send.
You might say
I really do. I think from the inside, Trevor, this horse is back quickly, razor sharp with 2 moves in his most recent effort, and maybe they want to teach Always Mining something. Maybe they're going to want to sit him just off the pace, because maybe he's not going to be as quick as some of those horses early in the Preakness. Maybe a little bit of a lesson here.
Well, trainer Kelly Rubley's done a great job managing this horse. I like the work tab since that big win in the private terms. Trainer Graham Motion, who's also stabled at Fairhill with Rubley last week, and when Motion had a horse that came out of the private terms, that good 3-year-old he won an allowance race last week, and Motion was giving Rubley some compliments how she's handled this horse. So nice compliments from a Kentucky Derby winning trainer. Let's see what trainer Kelly Rubley has to say about her Maryland bred by Stay Thirsty. Here's what Rubley had to say just yesterday at Laurel Park, right after she won a race yesterday here at Laurel. Here's what Kelly had to say.
I'm joined by trainer Kelly Rubley. We're talking about Always Mining and the Tessio. This horse has been so impressive. What do you think really happened with the light bulb clicking to win 5 in a row?
Well, I think that allowance race where he won so nicely sort of started the light switch, and he's just never done anything wrong. He's a really classy horse, and we're thrilled to have him.
What kind of confidence do you have going into this race off of his last few efforts?
Well, I mean, we're very hopeful that he'll run to his odds, absolutely.
Now, he's won those last few races all by open lengths. You kind of see sometimes maybe a horse gets his confidence built up when he's winning like that. Have you seen that from him?
Absolutely. We're trying to keep all 4 feet on the ground this week.
But what would it mean to get a race like the Tessio on his resume?
Well, I think that would be tremendous. I mean, his owners are just so thrilled that we've made it this far. So, to keep going from here will be a great experience for everyone.
Historically, it's been a prep for the Preakness Stakes. Is the Preakness potentially on the horizon?
We'll see after tomorrow, but I would say, it's a goal, and if we reach that, great.
Seems like the owners, Runnymede, has been very enthusiastic and very excited about this horse. Just tell me a little bit about their involvement and what it would mean to have a potential Preakness horse for them.
Oh, I think they'd be thrilled. They're wonderful people, and they've actually started coming out and watching him breeze, and it's been fun. They're having a great time.
Kelly, thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, so there's trainer Kelly Rubley, an up-and-coming trainer stabled up there at Fairhill. She's well-spoken. She doesn't say anything goofy. I like everything she says. She's very smart. She's paid her dues. She came up under Jimmy Toner.
Okay.
Jimmy Toner, veteran. I think Toner's probably in the Hall of Fame, or he probably should be in the Hall of Fame, and Rubley was an assistant trainer for him for a while. So great to see her with a big horse on a big stage.
Absolutely, and she spoke about the owners and Runnymede Farm just being so enthusiastic, and I agree with Keith. They've really done a fantastic job in how this horse has been handled, and should be fun to watch him run today.
Yeah, trying to change her profile a little bit too, get some more dirt horses into the stable, which is nice to see.
Yeah, she got the turf specialist from Jimmy Toner for sure. All right, but yeah, she's doing good here on the dirt with Always Mining, the heavy favorite. And keep in mind, this horse beat win-win-win. Win-win-win's going to be one of the favorites for the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yes.
So, all right, so that's the nice Express Bet Tessio kicks off the late daily double. I hit the all button here in race 11, the Henry Clark, 100,000 3 and up, 1 mile on the all-along turf course, no rail setting, and I go with the 3 Irish Straight for Graham Motion. Georgie Vargas will ride this 7-year-old son of English Channel. He's made almost 400,000. A nice win against Allowance Company at Tampa back in January. He ran okay. He only got beat a length and a half last out in the Grade 3 Tampa Bay back in February. Fired a 97 buyer with that effort. He's run some big races before. He's a graded stakes winner. I think Motion will have him ready to go. Finds a nice, a comfy, non-graded stake here in the Henry Clark.
I do think he's a very tough horse. He's been consistent. I've seen him run a little bit all over the place, and he's done some good running. I mean, his turf race at Gulfstream was disappointing, but he ran against Bricks and Mortar, who went on to win the Pegasus Turf after that. I took a stab at the 8 Real Story, second off the layoff for Ignacio Correas, and I think, Stan, you've got the right move in pressing the all button in here because it's that kind of wide-open race. This horse, I think, has some class in here. I mean, he faced Grade 1 Company before the layoff in Carrick and the Grade 1 Secretariat going 1.25 miles at Arlington. He's done some good running. He has some speed. He's pretty versatile as far as his distances go, and I think second off the bench, that was a good race behind Ticonderoga last time out.
Yeah, I think he's going to go right to the front, but I think my horse to the inside, Flash Phelps, back at it again at the age of
Gotta
8.
love this horse.
Finally draws inside. It's a couple races on the turf last year and prior. Outside draws in big fields, and here we go back to April 21st of 18 in the Henry Clark Stakes, and boy, from the 11 post, got good position at a salty price of 8-1. Looks like he's going to maybe eke out a victory, trying his heart out past the 8th pole. But Caribou Club just a little bit better here with Dr. Mounty. Flash Phelps grudgingly giving way to finish third. I think he's ready to go. Cranked up. The works are indicating he's ready. I think he gets a perfect stalking trip. Doesn't have to have that overland route trip that he had in those races last year.
Yeah, I like him. I pick him in my exact to that race we just showed. Caribou Club would come back to win. Dr. Mounty would go on to win the Grade 3 DC International last September here at Laurel. So Victor, I think he's going to be aggressive with this horse with an inside post. He's going to be sitting in that first flight of horses, second, third, or fourth early on.
Certainly. I don't want him more than a couple lengths out of it, down the backside into the far turn, ready to pounce from there. But I think Real Story, he's going to be the one to catch. Yep.
All right, so wide open edition of the Henry S. Clark. That's it. We're out of time here. Great big show we had this morning. Lots of information. Hopefully you checked it out. We gave you some winners. We'll have you races 1 through 4.
That's right.
And then good luck going to Reno for
Thank
Miss
you.
USA. We hope to see you at Preakness. We hope you win, and we don't see you at Preakness, but it'll all work out. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. And again, a big thank you to everybody that's been supportive. And let's get some winners here on a great day of racing.
Absolutely. Just save a job for Stan. We'll drive you around, whatever you need. You know, we're looking for change. Yeah.
All right, good luck. Dave Robbins coming up next with today's scratches and changes.
Good luck.